So welcome back to DecoyNoise, where we're covering more r/am I the antagonist and taking to Decoy Court. Because sometimes Reddit's feedback isn't enough and you need the decoy judge to give you the final opinion. So today's featured post is, am I the antagonist for possibly causing a divorce and my wife, a 31-year-old female, her best friend, a 32-year-old female, her marriage? So before we get to the story right now, I want to make sure you guys are, again, subscribing down below to join the Decoy Koi Pond and also turning on the notifications so I can become more of a friend than the YouTube channel and I get to text message you with a notification saying, hey look, we got some drama, we got to talk about it, drop what you're doing, take a break, relax, and listen to me judge some strangers online. So we'll go ahead and get to the story right now. OP says, my wife, a 31-year-old female, and Amy, a 32-year-old female, are best friends for about 15 years. About 2 months ago, Amy gave birth to a beautiful baby girl. Me, a 34-year-old male, and my wife have 4 children, a 3-year-old female, a 4-year-old female, a 4-year-old male, and a 6-year-old female. So we have been helping Amy and her husband, Jake, a 29-year-old male, because we know how hard and stressful the first few months with a newborn can be, specifically because they are first-time parents. My wife planned a girls' night at our house and invited her friends. She does that once a month. When my wife hosts those nights at our place, I usually go out with some of my friends to a nearby bar. Amy and Jake moved to our city about 1 year ago because Amy wanted to stay close to her parents and she had a better job opportunity in our town. Since they moved here, Jake has no family or friends nearby except for me, so I decided to invite him to come with my other friends to a bar. Jake is a very shy and reserved. He doesn't talk a lot, but he is a great guy. When we arrived at the bar, I tried to push Jake a little to interact with the other guys, but his answers were always short and simple, and then I told the rest of the guys that Jake was a first-time father and that his daughter was born 2 months ago, finally a conversation that Jake seemed to engage. The other guys in my friend group are a bit older than me, so most of them are parents. And things were going pretty well until a friend told us the first time he thought, holy crap, I'm a dad, was when he cut the cord after his wife gave birth after hearing After hearing this, Jake went a bit silent and said that he wasn't present at the delivery room when his wife gave birth. Then he asked us if that was kind of a big deal, and if he missed out on a lot not being there. Well, the consensus on the table was that being able to watch our children being delivered to this world is one of the most important moments in the life of the father, and that yes, he had missed a huge thing, and then he lost one of the hugest milestones in a marriage. After that, Jake went a bit quiet and left shortly after. 2 days later, Jake asks me if he can stay with me for a few days because he needed a bit of space from Amy. Amy called my wife crying, and she went to her house to talk with her a bit after that. Jake arrived at our home, and that's when he told me that he wanted to be in the delivery room, but with the lockdown restrictions, only one person was allowed, and Amy chose her mom. Apparently, he tried to argue with her, but she was adamant and in the end was not allowed in the birth room. Jake told Amy what he heard at the bar. They got into a big fight, and currently Jake is considering a divorce. Needless to say, Amy is furious at me and my wife is currently giving me the silent treatment. She said that I probably ended their marriage. I feel really bad with this whole thing, specifically with a baby in the middle. Am I the antagonist? And edit, Jake is a surgical nurse. He already helped deliver other people's babies. I guess that adds to the salt in the wound. So in a case that we need to rush over to that very serious Decoy Court, that I have no business judging a situation like this, but yeah, it makes me kind of feel that if you have a situation like this where just having drinks, having some beers with the guys, and having a regular conversation that any group of dads would do when they're getting to know each other, if something simple as like, yeah, I was there for the birth of my children and that was an important thing for me, and other people agreeing that that's a universal thing, Jake thinking that he would rather be in the room when his baby is born, if just bringing that up is enough to make him consider divorce, that relationship was already as flimsy as heck. Like, just the idea that if this was a relationship that was going super well, it wouldn't matter if they were throwing bricks at the walls or whatever. If it's a stone foundation, that house of marriage isn't coming down. But if it's just a marriage that's put together by tissue paper and duct tape, yeah, any slight breeze is going to knock it down. It's not his fault. It's not his fault for having a regular conversation between fathers about their child. So, no, they want to blame OP for splitting up this relationship, but I think it's just the easy out. It's an easy way to say, hey, I don't need to take any of the blame. Like, there has to be something else going on with this story where the wife, I think her name was Amy, the wife was like, I'd rather have my mom here instead of my husband when they're giving birth. There's something else in there, so maybe we're just missing that fact. But the thing is, though, is it's not the wife, it's not So Amy's mom's baby, it's Jake's baby, and the simple fact that they kicked him out of there and didn't let him be present for the birth of his own child, that's kind of on her fault. So there's other marital problems, and it's on her. It's not on OP. It's not on anybody else. It's easier to put it on him. So, you know, Decoy Court is saying that OP is not the antagonist for just trying to make friends with somebody that is put in a rough situation. You can't put this whole thing on them just because it's like, you know, how dare you punish me for something somebody else noticed? No, that's exactly what it is. But you come over here for that sweet, very serious, more important decoy defense. And with the decoy defense on this is maybe there's something else going on with this where they know that, like, okay, yeah, Jake is a, what they call him? He is a surgical nurse and he's already helped deliver other people's babies. Well, he just left his job and they had to say they had a better job opportunity from Amy to come to this city closer to mom and dad. How good of a surgical nurse is he if Amy's job prospects back home are better? I don't know what Amy does, but let's just say that, you know, for the sake of the decoy defense, Amy is a barista at Starbucks and was like, yo, I'm a second manager over here, but I could be the first, I'm a supervisor over here, but I can be the manager over there, so that's a better job opportunity. What happened to Jake's surgical nurse thing? Is he a terrible surgical nurse? Is that the reason why he couldn't be inside the delivery room? They're saying it's lockdown just to save his feelings, but he was a terrible nurse. That's why they got exiled from whatever home city they're from. Had to leave over there, change their names. Jake from State Farm, Amy from, I don't know what other commercial would involve an Amy. They're on the run because he was such a terrible nurse over there, and now this is all culminating into the resentment of him being a failed at his career, the resentment of them saying, hey, we don't really feel safe with a very trigger happy nurse. Why is a nurse trigger happy? I don't know, but that's probably why I lost his job as a nurse. So there's a lot of other things that aren't coming on there. So in the decoy defense, that would make sense for, you know, everybody saying, hey, everybody just kind of being a nice adult and not bringing up the many reasons that Jake lost his job in the first place. And here OP comes in barreling around like a bull in a china shop, just knocking everything down. Like, hey, remember the time you were a surgical nurse and you got fired for something because you were delivering babies and then you couldn't be there to deliver your own baby and cutting the cord? Why was that? Here, we got some strangers right now. It's a panel of other adults and dads that aren't failures in their industry. Tell us about that. And then he just goes home all sad and quiet or whatever. So obviously, decoy defense. Who knows where that came from? I just make this up on the spot. Maybe this is a sign of a deeper issue inside my mind. I don't want to know. Don't drop that comment down below as to what diagnosis you would give me. Just drop down below the fact that you are subscribed now, notifications on, because you want to be involved in the Decoy Koi pond, have that discussion, and also earn those Decoy Koi coins as we go along to be one of those first Decoy Koi coin trillionaires on the DecoyNoise.com website. So take a short break. Let me know if you guys have subscribed down below, but also let's go ahead and get to that top comment to see what they're saying. So the top comment is, if this was enough to end their marriage, it couldn't have been a good one. Yeah, and that's the thing, is there's no way that marriage could have been successful if something as simple as bar talk was able to set it off its axis. Next reply, not the antagonist. You guys had a talk in a bar. Whatever other bubbling issues that were also present that combined with him not being in the delivery room were decided without any of your input. Her choosing her mom over the father were not your doing. His discussion with not just you, but this group of men just helped him realize how upset he was about it. You bear no responsibility for this at all. Your wife blaming you for someone else's actions and reactions, not cool. And the one thing I would like to see is, or say is, it's probably just a lot of people being emotional and their knee-jerk reaction is like, you know, not the symptom, it's just the not the disease, it's a symptom. Like if they saw somebody and a doctor gave them a really, really bad diagnosis saying like, you know what, this is going to take you in a couple weeks, get your affairs in order, probably the first reaction would be like, oh my God, that doctor's a quack. We're going to go to a way better doctor. We're going to get a way better service for you. He doesn't know what he's talking about. And it's just like, you know, a coping mechanism. So I genuinely don't think the wife can be seen as too bad of a person, but maybe we just don't know enough about it. But let's go ahead and see that defensive controversial section saying, not the antagonist at all. He should have been his wife's first choice. How sad he missed this monumental moment. I feel bad for Jake. He needs to stand up to his wife, and she made a horrible, horrible mistake by not letting him be number one. Which, without other context, that would be a sad thing. Like, I could see, you know, a girl, I don't really have much experience with, like, you know, girls and babies and all that stuff, but I could see why a girl would be very, very afraid of giving childbirth and would want her mom, her security blanket. They have a very close relationship. Mom has been talking about childbirth and the whole, bond with it. I'm sure somebody in the comment section here could tell me, because I believe my ratio is most Decoy Court followers are, I think it's like 75% female, and a lot of them being older with families of their own. So you guys probably could tell me, like, who would you rather have in the delivery room for your first baby, very scared, giving birth, a mom that has been there, your biggest supporter your entire life, to walk you through what this is going to be, or your equally scared, terrified husband that is just not knowing what's going on. I could see that being a thing. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and say still we're not budging on the Decoy Court decision. OP's not the antagonist. It can't be his fault that he noticed that there's a problem and got the ball rolling in Jake's mind that this is a bad relationship. So there's no way I could put the blame on him. But I would say as we go along, I'm kind of talking to all the Decoy Court, the people that kind of stuck around the entire video to kind of hear my rambling part of this. But we see more of these type of relationship questions where it's not about OP and their significant other, it's about other people from the outside looking in. And I think it's important to always know that, yes, I try to give everybody a fair shake when I'm doing the Decoy Court judgment. Like I say, Decoy Court, knee-jerk reaction. Decoy defense is like, hey, what would be the reason that could be the opposite of that? Because you want to see things for like the big picture. It's something in The Wire, but they say, you need to have soft eyes. Hard eyes will be staring at a tree, missing the entire forest. The soft eyes can see the big picture, and that's a big thing right here. Everybody wants to jump to knee-jerk reactions and have this weird self-righteousness. And I don't want to say, oh yeah, Decoy Court or DecoyNoise is giving you a life lesson at the end of it, but I think it is important to see a situation like this and not jump to conclusions, because there is probably a large component to this story that we're just not hearing, and everything we're thinking and saying and giving advice onto is null and void because we just simply don't know enough. So if you like your Reddit reader giving you life advice, make sure you subscribe down below. Join that Decoy Koi pond as well. Let me know in the comment section. If you're a first-time Decoy Koi subscriber, let me know. But also, if you have been subscribed, make sure you're checking to see if you're still subscribed, because I'm hearing alarming amount of people are getting unsubscribed automatically, and that just bewilders me. I don't know what triggers that. But as always, if making it this far in the video, I appreciate you hanging out with me and enjoying the party that I'm having at the DecoyNoise. Subscribe if you haven't, like the video, and also share it with somebody. But if nothing else, go ahead and click that link right over there that says, hey, there's more DecoyNoise that the Google algorithm thinks you'll like. This microphone's the camera's always zooming in and zooming out. I need a better camera. So you drop in the comments if there's a better camera I can get that's cheap.